Gavin Newsom is unraveling after his master plan to gerrymander California is already backfiring in his face in humiliating fashion. The California Republicans, who already live under an extremely disenfranchised and gerrymandered map, are rightfully furious at the prospect of Gavin Newsom snuffing out even more of their representation and have threatened to secede from California. Also, the new brilliant strategy coming out of the Democrat Party to win back regular middle-of-the-road Christian Americans is to insult, mock, and ridicule their religion. I'm not kidding. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's listen to this Democrat strategist at their summer camp in Little Somalia explain how their racist DEI policies are actually the foundation of Christianity. Take a look.
One Democrat trying to tout DEI as the backbone of faith. Listen.
To my Republican friends and fellow citizens, I say, who profess to be active Christians, I remind them that DEI is the very foundation of the Christian church.
The RNC clapping back, telling Fox News Digital, quote, the DNC reaffirmed their party's support for radical racist DEI ideology and insulted Christians across the country by saying DEI is the very foundation of Christianity. It's no wonder Democrats' approval rating is in the toilet.
I mean, I don't understand the Democrat Party. They despise religion. They'll mock people for believing in God. They believe it's a primitive way of understanding the world. But yet they'll turn around and weaponize it to try and impose their radical progressive policies. They know nothing about it, but they'll use it as the justification for why you have to accept mass illegal immigration or transgenderism for the children. And now they're trying to use their emotional manipulation again to explain that their racist DEI policies are somehow the foundation of the Christian faith. Say what you will about the Democrat Party, but they certainly have a knack for just cranking out the worst ideas possible time and time again. But their ability to mock and insult people incessantly for things that they really care about and then turn around and demand their vote has no limits. Here is Pastor Candy Von Sprinkles leading the morning prayer, and you tell me if you think this is what Jesus had in mind.
My name is Candy Von Sparkle, aka Christopher. My pronouns are he, she, and they. Please join me responsibly in a call to worship. Source of life, in the beginning, you made us and called us beloved. When we forget how to love, you remind us to do it. When the powers of the world try to oppress us, your name is beloved. When our siblings in faith condemn us, you claim us beloved. We are your beloved. So today you sing your praises, source of love.
Now, I wanted to show that stuff first because it's a perfect segue into the unraveling of Gavin Newsom, who has seemingly adopted this strategy of insulting people's faith. And after the tragic shooting that occurred in Minneapolis at a Catholic church, Gavin Newsom took to Twitter and mocked and ridiculed these deceased people, making fun of them for praying in their final moments, laughing at how it apparently didn't work. So the tweet that he's quote tweeting is from Carolyn Levitt, who's commenting on ex-White House press secretary Jen Psaki, making the comment on MSNBC that prayer was useless because that's what the kids were doing at the time they were shot, and it apparently didn't work. And Caroline Levitt is saying just how disrespectful and insensitive that is. And Gavin says these children were literally praying as they got shot. And of course, the soulless Democrats who are running to his defense are saying what he means is we need to find real legislative solutions to stop this. But any rational person knows that wasn't the meaning behind his comment. You don't even have to be religious to find that disgusting and low. Prayer is a way that tens of millions of Americans find comfort in hard times. And the inhumane point Gavin Newsom is trying to make while taking advantage of a tragedy is, well, they were praying in a church, and that still didn't stop them from getting shot. So prayer is stupid and meaningless. I don't know, man. I don't think the Democrats really understand just how damaging this desperate attention-seeking, rage-baiting on the internet strategy is going to be for their brand. Like, you have to actually try to be this out of touch and unlikable. Democrats are going out of their way to offend people and rub people the wrong way at every chance they get. Gavin Newsom is trying to appeal to the most radical leftists on the internet. And by doing so, he's becoming extremely divisive. And he's becoming more desperate as his national power play to redistrict California might be facing some hurdles because the Republicans want to secede.
And splitting the state would be a very long process, one that is allowed by the California Constitution, but which would require the approval of both the state assembly and the state senate and the voters of California. The so-called two-state solution would split the state vertically, with the Bay Area and all but one coastal county in the west, including LA, Santa Barbara, San Diego. This would represent about 3/4 of California's population. To the east, most of the inland areas, Northern California, the Sierra Nevada, Central Valley, and Southern California's Inland Empire, about 10 million Californians. Today, state Republicans said that the split would give rural voters a voice, which they say will be silenced if the new redrawn congressional maps are approved by voters in the November 4th special election. One of the authors there, James Gallagher of Northern California, said that this impacts water rights, the price of fuel, firefighting resources, the battle between ranchers and environmentalists, and so on.
Gavin Newsom is such a selfish, power-hungry politician. He's willing to disenfranchise his own voters, sacrifice them at the altar of the Democrat Party, just to try and get some national recognition to improve his presidential odds. He is putting his presidential ambitions above his duties as the governor. Donald Trump received 40% of the votes in California, yet they only have 17% of their House seats that are Republican. So they're already living under these extremely unfair maps. And now Gavin Newsom's plan is to reduce that 17% to like 10 or 11%. And the Republicans in California are fed up. The inland, rural parts of California share none of the same concerns as the coastal, elite, expensive, woke cities. But yet, those cities are going to have unilateral control over the direction of the entire state. Gavin Newsom is so power hungry that despite a bill called Prop 36 in California passing, which is supposed to revert all criminal penalties back to where they were pre-George Floyd, because after the whole defund the police fiasco, California went super soft on crime and instituted policies like if you shoplifted under $1,000, it'd be a misdemeanor, but you probably wouldn't even be charged. And obviously this led to an insane spike in crime, followed by stores closing. And so the citizens want that to stop. They want that to revert back to the old penalties. And Gavin Newsom won't put it forward because he says the state doesn't have the money for it. But yet he took $50 billion of state funds to Trump-proof the state for his own personal gripes. He consistently sacrifices the well-being of his own constituents for his personal political gain. And that's why earlier this year, Bill Maher called him out to his face on his show for being extremely, extremely divisive. Watch this.
I feel like the last couple of years you've like purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, oh, this is a blue state and that's a red state.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. It's been a tough 5-6 years.
Gavin Newsom will never become president because he has the worst track record of any politician there is. From his time as governor or lieutenant governor or mayor of San Francisco, it has been massive failure after failure after failure. But Gavin Newsom doesn't care about results or effectiveness. He just cares about public perception. But the mistake that he's making is the real world isn't X. It isn't social media. But the Democrats can't win in any tangible way. The only way they can feel any sense of success is by looking how many likes a post gets or how many followers their accounts have. And that's why they've decided to pander to the internet at the expense of actual people in real life. And while people on the internet may digest whatever piece of anti-Trump slop he shoves down their throat, that message isn't going to translate to real life. So here's Gavin Newsom at a Politico conference just making up an imaginary world where every world leader has called Gavin Newsom and told him that they're laughing behind Trump's back. Take a look.
I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of foreign leaders. I've had a chance.
What's the
visiting
general?
them.
Not putting.
They're laughing behind his back. That did not happen. I'm making this clear.
They're telling.
Do not conflate what I just said with the meeting I had with the Denmark delegation.
No, it wasn't them. Other foreign leaders are laughing.
I've had dozens and dozens. Ambassadors met with him.
What are they saying?
They're laughing behind his back. He's being played everywhere. It's an embarrassment.
Number one, does he really think we believe that world leaders are just calling up Gavin Newsom and venting to him like it's a therapy session? And number two, let's even say he was right. They're laughing behind Trump's back. Well, they signed a commitment to increase NATO spending from 2% to 5%. We've gotten extremely favorable trade deals from all of our European allies. Adults don't prioritize what other people think about them at the expense of getting things done that need to get done. Imagine being the president of the United States and you're so insecure that you're more concerned about your peers liking you than you are getting things done for the American people. And that's why Democrats are such hypocrites who lack principle or a consistent moral compass. What they believe and what's important to them changes based on what the Democrat establishment claims is important at the time and will maintain their acceptance within the group. 1 week they're waving Mexican flags, 1 week they're waving Gaza flags, 1 week they're waving Ukraine flags. They care about the genocide going on in Palestine, but not the one in Burma, or not the one in China, or not the one in Syria. Why? Because the party hasn't deemed it important. Because their friendships aren't predicated on virtue signaling about that particular issue. But the last thing I'm going to show you is Gavin doing his typical lying, deceitful manipulation of numbers to try to make a point, because he's a slimy sleazebag.
Well, I think you should start with Shreveport, Louisiana, in Speaker Johnson's district that has 6+ times the per capita murder rate of Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco. What about the carnage, Mr. President, in Shreveport? Why aren't you protecting the folks there? 8 of the top 10 murder states in this country, red states. What bullshit. And everyone knows it. Everybody knows it. Again, it's acts of authoritarianism. It's acts of power on a person that is trying to use his its formal authority, and it's depleting. And it's weak. It's increasingly weak, and it's increasingly desperate.
So this is a common line being regurgitated by Democrat mayors and Democrat governors. 13 out of the 20 top murder states are Republican. Why is Donald Trump focused on the Democrat ones? And it's purposely misleading because 19 out of the 20 highest murder rate cities are all ran by Democrat mayors. And they'll respond with, so when it's a blue city in a blue state, it's the governor's fault. But when it's a blue city in a red state, now suddenly it's the mayor's fault. And because Democrats don't have the ability to critically think one move past whatever they're saying or trying to do, they don't realize, yes, that is the issue. And here's why. Crime in a Democrat city within a Democrat state is the governor's fault if that state's governor is defunding police resources or instituting soft crime laws that then those city district attorneys follow. If California at a state level, through Gavin Newsom's approval, says that now theft under $1,000 is basically just a slap on the wrist, and the cities decide to follow that, and it leads to a surge in crime, then yes, it's Gavin Newsom's fault. But if a red state governor maintains strong, harsh criminal laws, but those Democrat city councils and Democrat mayors and Democrat district attorneys decide that they're going to follow a whole different set of laws, then the onus for the failure is on that mayor, not the governor of the red state. He'll rattle off the statistic California is the 4th largest economy in the world, which is true, but he makes it seem like it's due to outstanding Democrat fiscal policy. Democrat fiscal policy is $188 billion spent 20 years down the drain for a high-speed rail that hasn't laid a mile of track. The reason California is the 4th largest economy in the world is the same reason California has the most homeless people in the United States. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful, and they are blessed with a state that is so geographically diverse. Beautiful, perfect weather in Southern California that the world's richest people will live there despite the policies being absolutely garbage. And when you have that much capital in the state, inevitably the GDP is going to be high. But that same beauty and ease of life is the reason why homeless people go there. There is no area on planet Earth where it's easier to be homeless than in Southern California. But Gavin Newsom's a snake, and that's what he does. And his failures in California, combined with his new strategy of mocking and ridiculing Christians, is going to lead to the most epic crash and burn we've ever seen in political history if he still decides to run in 2028. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.